Is it okay to take it to the flash?
Of course.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
Wow. When you're ready to fly, they exercise the wings for a moment, and then 80% is here. You can see 20% release for conservation. And they only live 1 month. All of them is ashore, like in the butterfly stage.
And they live 1 month?
Yeah.
Oh.
The
Do
process.
you export them?
No, it's just for conservation and tourism.
Wow. Did you take the one that's
Yeah,
half out?
I will in here.
Bueno, la señora ya lo logró.
I think it likes some clear ammonia. Oh. Maybe he's expired. Come feed on me. Oh, better go out. Did you pick it up?
No, estoy en la cola, vamos ya. Van en la cola del perrito mismo. Yo voy aquí. Voy a Nico, yo voy acá, pasando acá.
For cacao. We go about 1 hour from here to Puerto Rico, and we get the baba, we get all what's inside of this.
It's called the baba.
Yeah, this is the baba right here. Right, what's inside the pot. And we get all that, and then we bring it here, and then we go to process it. But we go up at night at 5 o'clock and we get it, and then in the morning, that same night we put it in to start fermentation. So, let me see. Have you guys seen, you haven't seen any trees?
No.
Okay. So,
I did in the Caribbean.
a little bit, In the Caribbean?
Yeah.
The type of cacao that we're doing is Nacional, the cacao fine aroma and taste, which is what Ecuador does. The old trees used to grow 45 feet high, but now they're shortening them down because it's harder to get to the fruit. So they make them between 18 and 20 feet high, so it's easier for them to harvest. And the cacao, the flower comes out of the pod right here. It's a little white flower that comes out, and then after a few days, then we have a little pod that grows out of that flower. And then it starts growing and it gets to this size, and then eventually once it's ripe, then it's yellow like that.
And how many would each tree have?
It depends. It'll have anywhere between 3 and 10.
Oh.
So
And it just grows out of the trunk?
it grows out of the trunk.
Oh.
Yeah. This type of cacao grows like that. There are other types of cacao which are different. The criollo, there's, I'm going to tell you about those a little bit later.
Yeah.
And what happens is the season for the cacao is 5 months, and then they take a month break, and then they go 5 months and another 1 month break. So you ended up with 10 months of cacao and 2 months of resting. Okay, another thing is the growers try to keep all the other shoots away, keep the plants free of any additional shoots that come out, so that all the food goes directly to the plant instead of getting sidetracked.
So you get bigger fruit?
Yeah, you get, it grows faster and it's more effective that way. It's cleaner. And also they're crowning them so that you can get more sun from the top, and then the fruit matures a lot faster when you have sun.
They take the leaves off the top as well, do they? So
A little bit off the top because they want more sun to penetrate. Yeah. And the cacao, when we plant a cacao seed, then it takes 4 years for it to grow to maturity and start giving fruit. But it takes 7 years to give really good fruit. And then it gives fruit till it's 40 years old, and then again it starts going down production. In a few years it'll stop. So that's, it's a long expectancy of the tree.
And is the fruit the seed as well?
Is the what?
Is this fruit? Is this what you plant for a new tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After we ferment the plant, then that kills the seed, so it's no longer fertile after that. So the process would be, the first thing we do is fermentation. And fermentation is very important because that's where you get crops. And they keep coming down, and they're going to show you how that goes. And so 6 days of fermentation is the most that anybody does, because it makes the cacao a lot stronger. So
is that, you do the 100% chocolate, do you, where it's got no
yeah,
sugar?
we do anywhere from 60% is the minimum that we do, because a lot of people can't take 100%. Some people have a palate that it just needs more sugar.
Yeah, too bitter.
Yeah, and then it'll go all the way to 85. Now we are going to let you taste the 100%. So you'll make your own decision if you'd like to have that as a chocolate flavor. Most people can't take that much chocolate.
Good for diabetics though.
For diabetic, we have a plant which is called stevia that we can make a diabetic chocolate. But normally we do the regular chocolate unless somebody needs for us to do a special chocolate. Then we would have to have time for us to make the chocolate, probably can satisfy your request, but we need more time.
Yeah, yeah. So you can make to order if necessary.
Yeah, sure. And let's see, after the fermentation, then we let them dry inside a greenhouse. And it goes from 7 to 21 days depending on the weather. So if it's sunny all the time, then 7 days, it's done, dried up. But if it's like this weather all the time, and then it's gonna take longer, it's gonna take the 21 days.
Yeah.
Is that just the contents of this, not the whole thing?
The what?
Just the contents of this, just the
The juice,
inside of
the
this?
juice
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, when we get it, we don't bring the pot.
Okay, so you only bring the white bits?
Yeah, the white bit, and then we take out this placenta, which is holding the seeds together.
Uh-huh.
We take that out.
Okay.
And then we only put the seeds to ferment. And the seeds are self-fermenting. We don't put anything else. The only thing that we do is we cover them up real good so that they can generate more heat. And then we cover them with burlap bag, and then we also cover them with a plastic.
Yeah. And do you collect the juices?
Yes, we are the only ones that are collecting the juice. The way we ferment, and you'll see the boxes in there, we collect this juice and we come up with a cacao nectar, which we make a barbecue sauce. After we reduce that formula and we make a barbecue sauce. So that's the only barbecue sauce made out of chocolate.
Sounds good. Put it on your bananas.
So you're gonna be tasting that too.
Go on.
Yeah, sure. They're gonna make you taste all these products, and then you make your decision if you like it or if you don't like it. But everybody says that the brownie is the best brownie that they've had, and that's because our chocolate is very strong. So that's the key here.
You know where to come for brownies and
Yeah. Once you have one brownie, you keep coming back.
Only you should.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
If you're a chocolate lover.
Just take a photo.
Okay. So.
Take the screen up.
After we ferment it and we dry it, then what we do is we bring it over here and we toast the seeds. And then we have another machine that breaks up the seeds. And then we have another kind of a wind tunnel which separates, takes out all the peels and blows it away and leaves us just the clean nibs. And then,
Will we see that too?
yeah, you'll see all this. So bring your camera with you so you can take pictures.
Yeah.
Right.
Take a picture.
We export nibs is basically what we do. We do a little bit of chocolate in a little room, but only for people that come in, here, and we don't sell it anywhere else other than
You
here.
don't, do the local places sell
No,
chocolate?
no, we don't do the local places. We export most of the nibs to the United States, and then there's a factory over there that makes Mindo chocolates.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
What about the UK?
the UK, we haven't got to there yet.
Really?
We hope to someday we'll go to the UK.
Well, maybe you should give them your name and you can import it for them.
Sure. But I think out of the US, they'll ship to anywhere in the world. So we'll give you a card, and then you can write to them, and you go in the internet, and then tell them what your address is, and they'll make arrangements to send it to you. So we can do that.
Cool.
Now, once we get, let me tell you a little bit of how we make our product once we get the nibs. So once we get the nibs, let me see. Let me get a couple. These are the dry cacao beans, and these are the
Crushed.
okay.
So this is that. That's that, is it?
That's after it's been fermented and dried.
Okay.
So this is going along the process. This is brand new, and then it goes to this,
Yeah.
and from here it goes to that.
And that's just chopped up?
Now this right here is roasted,
Yeah.
toasted, and then we break up the seed, and then we take away all the peel,
Okay.
and then this will be clean nibs. I think they're still cute.
What do you do with it? Is that what makes the chocolate? The nibs?
This is what we make the chocolate with.
Okay. So what does the little seed?
You can taste this if you want. Taste it a little bit, and then you can also taste this because this is more like a nut. In Canada, people like to buy these because it's healthier. Once you toast it, you lose some of the antioxidants. So.
Can you eat these then?
Yeah, sure. You can just peel it and we can do this.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is before toasting.
Before toasting. That at this point is the highest antioxidant that you can get for if that's what you're after. In Canada, they like to buy it this way. Yeah, it's more like a nut. It's not quite like chocolate.
Good though. You could get
What's
used
the
to it.
taste of a chocolate liqueur? And from a chocolate liqueur, then we do two different processes. We make a cocoa powder and we put it in a press. We put it into a cylinder and take out all the cocoa butter, remove it, and then all we have left is a solid piece of chocolate. So from that, we put it into a food processor and powderize it and sift it, and we have the cocoa powder. So it's one process. With the same chocolate liqueur, we put it into these machines called Santa machines. So once we put it into that, then we add sugar and we add a little bit more cocoa butter. We're going to be making the chocolate bars with it. And then in this machine, it gets a very fine grind for 3 days. And after 3 days, then it becomes, we can go ahead and use it. And the more sugar you put in, the less cacao. So that's where the percentages of cacao come from, depending on the sugar we put in. So if you weren't to put any sugar, it'd be 100%. But normally we don't do that, unless somebody wants to.
And so who first did this? Why would you think of doing this?
Going into history, now you're asking me about the history, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We go 1,200 years before Christ to the Olmeca Indians in Mexico. They're the founding fathers of making cacao. So what happened was that they came to the Amazonia. They were merchant Indians. They came over here and they took the pots from here, with the Amazonia being Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, the north part of Bolivia, and all the Amazon River. This is for the type of cacao would be the Nacional. So that they took it to Mexico, and then they did the same kind of procedure as we do, with the exception that when they got to grinding, they didn't have a machine to grind anything in those days. So what they did to grind it was they took a volcanic rock and a roller, and they heated it up. And then they took the nibs and they grounded them with a roller, and then it turned into a liquid. So they took the liquid and put it into a clay pot. They mixed it up with honey, hot pepper, and vanilla, and any other kind of spice that they may have. And then they would go ahead and give it. The whole reason why they did this is because they gave it to the Indians that were going into battle, so that they became very strong because of all the antioxidants and caffeine, and they fought very well. So that was made primarily for that reason. Some of the nobles also were consuming the cacao, and only those people because it was a very tedious process for them. So that's what they did. And then in this picture over here, you see the cacao being offered. This is 300 years after Christ. The Mayas originated. Yeah. And then the Mayas were after that. So the Mayas would go ahead and offer to the gods cacao, and they said, this is the food of the gods. So they considered this as a highly regarded food.
Still present
Right.
today.
Now, to go beyond that, when the Spanish came to America, they saw what they were doing in Mexico. So So then they said, we want to take this to Spain because we like what we see here, something new. So when they took it, the first time they took it like this, and our whole shipment got rotted because, you know, it's fruit, and then when
On the way.
it took a long time to get there, so it all spoiled. So now, Montezuma, who was the Indian chief, and saw what they did and says, well, I'm gonna give you guys an offering, and I'm gonna give you the dry seeds like this. If you take it like that, it'll make the trip and it won't get spoiled. So they did that, and then in 1519, the first place they made chocolate was a priest named Aguilar in the Saragossa Monastery. And he made the cacao a little different because this was a cold drink that they used to do. But he made it hot, and he added cinnamon, cloves, and egg yolks to it, and made a broth, and that was the first chocolate in Europe, in Spain. Then chocolate goes to Italy, and they served it in the cafeterias of Florence and Venice in 1606. And they said that the chocolate was so well accepted that Cardinal Richelieu became a true addict of chocolate. And then in 1615, chocolate goes to France for the wedding of Anna, the daughter of Philippe III and King Louis XIV. They elected to have chocolate as their drink of choice. So that's how it got introduced to France. And in 1657, chocolate goes to England, where chocolate at this point can be enjoyed by more people because there was more, they were able to get more of it. And they also made pudding and tablets out of them. And they served it along with the beer in the trendy pubs in London. In 1679, chocolate goes to Germany and to Belgium, and that happened during the Industrial Revolution. Now, in 1819, Henry Herscher invented the first chocolate bar in Switzerland. So this is 1819. In 1842, John Cadbury of England had the first chocolate factory for bars. So that was the first. And then in 1875, Henry Nestle of Switzerland invented the condensed milk, and now you can have the milk chocolate bar. So we're making progress to the way we know chocolate now from what it used to be. So the biggest invention was in 1828. Dutch chemist Conrad van Houten from Holland invented the chocolate press, which is kind of like the chocolate press that we have now. So what he did is he separated the cocoa butter, he took it away, and then ended up with just a solid piece of chocolate, just like what you're going to be looking at that. So that's pretty much, okay, another thing I need to tell you is that cacao grows from the equatorial line 20 degrees to the north and 20 degrees to the south. It's the only, all the way around the world is where it grows, because, and it also has to have heat and it has to have rain. Those two elements, you're going to have a lot of moisture and a lot of heat. With those two elements in that area, the reason that you can't go beyond that area is because you're getting into the forest stations, and then the plants would be killed before they had a chance to survive.
And what sort of height can it grow at?
Pardon?
What sort of height can it grow up to? Not
Altitude.
Altitude, sorry.
To the
Meters above sea level.
oh, it's mostly at sea level. Yeah, it could be maybe 300 or 400 meters above sea level, but no higher than that. We're at 1,200 feet, and we can't get plants over here. It's too cold. It gets too cold. Now, the different types of cacao that we have is the criollo, which is grown in Venezuela normally. Now, it can grow anywhere. Any of these cacaos can grow anywhere in Belgium. The forastero, which normally grows in lower Brazil, Central America, and the Caribbean. It's like you probably saw that one. The amelado is a combination of two different cacaos. Any of those mixed up. and of course the Nacional, which is grown in the Amazonia. The CCN 51 is a scientifically developed cacao. It's a huge pot like this, and it gives a lot of volume, and the plants are almost they resist a lot of the illnesses that plants can get, like witch's broom and stuff like that. But
Is it genetically engineered?
they're genetically engineered. The only thing they lack is they're not very good tasting. But they say that there's a super cacao coming out. We hope that they haven't said too much about it, but we hope that they're addressing the taste issue, because that would make it, because they're a lot bigger.
So even though they're genetically modified, they can still be organic.
Yeah, organic.
Organic is just
Organic would
pesticide.
mean that they don't use any chemicals. And then we also do fair trade, so we're paying a fair price for the things that we get. So our chocolates are fair trade and organic.
Is in order to dry it, then they bring to here, this machine.
Y lo traemos aquí para tostar.
Then they toast. Is it toast when they use
yes.
Yeah.
Esta máquina es a gas, le prendemos acá, se le tapa esto y comienza a girar por unos 30 minutos.
Yeah, it works with a bombona, with this one.
With the gas.
Yeah.
And is
For
that the
30
time?
minutes,
Is that the
maybe.
timer?
Sí, por 30 minutos.
For 30 minutes.
Entonces cuando está listo le sacamos.
When it's
ponemos
ready,
Acá en esta máquina
and they put there.
es una batidora de pastel con un molino. Ponemos las semillas enteras aquí y esta se encarga de triturar.
They put the whole seeds there, and then it ground it.
Esta máquina le tritura y lo que cae acá es cacao con todo y cáscara.
Then they pick up, or then they will, I don't know how they say, they used to just choose the best without the screen.
Like filter?
Son pedazos de cacao con todo y cáscara. Y para separarle utilizamos la máquina.
In order to separate just the best part of the cacao,
Oh, yeah.
they use.
And this is the bad bit.
Yeah, in this
That's
one,
it, that's the
in that
shell.
one just
So
they
look, she's gonna do
ground,
it.
and then in here they do like this, and
Is this the shell, do you ask her? Is that the outer
Yeah.
shell?
no, this is the seed.
No,
Not
it's all the
shell.
inside, I think.
The shell we have here.
Oh, right. How do they get the shell?
And the seeds, the seeds.
El cacao es más pesado, queda acá y la cáscara vuela hacia allá.
The shells blow out.
Y luego de aquí recogemos y llevamos acá.
Then they pick up and put.
Eso recogemos y acá tenemos.
They put it in another place.
Este extractor de humedad.
Y the must not be wet. Always must be warm here.
Yeah.
Y luego lo traemos hasta acá. Aquí es muy pequeño, no sé si pueden tener un ventilador.
When they use the fan to separate the shells, this is what the final process.
Ya. Y esto lo puedes comer así, o con granola, o también lo molemos para hacer el chocolate.
You can eat it alone, or
Pueden
maybe
probarlo si
if you
desean.
want, you can try it.
I think we tried. Did we just try it?
But like it's
Tea.
so,
Oh.
yeah. Try it.
I already ate it.
Ponemos esto.
Right now you have the chocolate.
Is this the butter or the chocolate?
No, it's chocolate. Then you can add some milk. Just add a spoon of that in milk, and it's Really good.
Can you buy that straight?
Yeah. They export the nicks. Because you know in Europe and United States you have another process to make different kind of chocolate. Different.
They make Mindo chocolate in America.
Yeah.
Entonces aquí, en esta máquina, ponemos también la pasta que salió acá. Les llenamos, esta parte sale, acá abajo tiene unos filtros. Y esto con esta gata de acá es para separar la manteca del cacao.
This machine is in order to separate the oil of the cacao.
So
the grass.
And they make us barbecue sauce out of
So
this?
that's the butter.
Sí, esto es manteca de cacao.
This is the oil of chocolate oil.
Is it like the cocoa butter?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is to separate.
And when did you do that stage?
Because that's before.
¿Cuándo haces eso? ¿Cuándo haces eso? ¿Después o antes?
Eso con la misma pasta que salió de acá le hacemos esto. Es otro proceso.
It's a different process.
Okay.
First this and then this. First is that.
I see. And then you make.
But if you're just doing chocolate bars, you go this and then this.
Y esta manteca del cacao es el ingrediente principal para el chocolate blanco.
It's the main ingredient for the chocolate. For some
Para el chocolate
sweets.
blanco.
For the white chocolate.
White chocolate.
Ya, sí. Y lo que nos queda aquí, le hacemos polvo para hacer chocolate caliente.
When the machine keeps inside, is for the hot chocolate. To prepare hot chocolate.
Y
¿Y eso exportan también? Leche. ¿Venden ustedes eso?
sí, las barras.
¿Cuánto cuestan?
Las barras, hay unas funditas que son de media libra, 1 libra, la de media libra, 5.
So just this and agua.
No sugar.
No azúcar.
They don't have
Agua y otros ingredientes.
Another ingredients. ¿Cómo qué, por
Depende del tipo de cerveza, si es cerveza
It depends
negra
on the kind
o
of
rubia,
beer.
con lúpulos, cosas así, los sabores que le da a la cerveza.
Yeah.